This is Jimmy Burns from Melbourne, Ohio, and you're listening to BBQ Central.
We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, welcome to the really big BBQ Central show. This is the show that talks about all things that are muy importante to the world of barbecue and grilling. We broadcast live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city and the barbecue capital of the North Coast, Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome in. Happy to have you aboard here for the show. If you have always dreamed of calling in and letting me know what's on your mind as it relates to the world of live fire cooking, I'm more than happy to take that phone call, 216-220-0966. You can also email the show.
All guests appear via
Or
the
this one.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com or on the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't subscribe to the newsletter. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, head on over to that main website that I just gave you at the very top of the navigation. There's a little link that says newsletter. Dump in the quick bits of contact information, and then every Tuesday, right around lunchtime, you'll get the distribution of the newsletter, and that'll give you a heads up on what's happening for the show later that evening. Don't forget, you can always subscribe to the show on podcast through any type of podcast platform. Just search The BBQ Central Show. Inevitably, it will come up no matter what the platform is. Subscribe, and then you'll never miss an interview, segment, or otherwise going forward. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, it is the third Tuesday of the month. Last month, kind of missed more than hit this guest, but typically you find him here the third Tuesday of each and every month. He is a multiple-time author. He is a 2015 barbecue inductee class member. He also gives cooking class instruction over at the Broadmoor, which is very high society. Plus, did I mention TV show host? Yeah, I think I did. You know, it's Steven Raichlen, of course. He'll be joining us. Lots to discuss with Steven as it relates to the new book coming out, as it relates to the new TV show that'll be coming out here in a matter of weeks, plus some other secret questions that I have devised that he may or may not have thoughts, opinions, and or answers to as I ask him. So stay tuned for Steven Raichlen coming up shortly. And then 35 past the hour, we will be joined by who is a growing third Tuesday of the month second segment guest, one of the co-founders of the State Cook-Off Association. Brett Galloway will be joining me. We have a lot to talk about with Brett since the last conversation we had last month. There's been a number of great events that have taken place over the last 4 weeks, not the least of which is the triple event that took place just this past weekend in Nebraska, and talk about all types of weather conditions being thrown in there. So we'll talk to Brett about that. Got some big upcoming events as well as some news as it relates to the very final event for the State Cook-Off World Championships, locations, times, all that stuff. So stay tuned for 35 past the hour and that conversation. Then we'll move into the second hour, and I will be joined by a first-time guest, but we will be getting caught up on one of the sponsors of the show and things that they are working on for the remainder of the year, things they want to promote. Also, we'll get a quick heads up on where the current status of the Committed Cooks program is. I am, of course, talking about Smithfield, and I will be joined by first-timer Belinda Niebling. I believe she's actually working for the marketing department of Smithfield, or the marketing firm that partners with Smithfield in that regard. Emily is, last I saw on Instagram, was out on the left coast taking in Jimmy Kimmel, hanging out with the likes of a Sterling Ball and some other top-name chefs. Taylor Davis probably doing work in the Kansas City, Missouri area. So we get to meet Belinda, learn a little bit about her, but more importantly, see what's happening with all the good stuff that Smithfield is bringing to the Live Fire Cooking Arena. And then helping me close out the show, 35 past the second hour. As I had mentioned here a couple weeks ago, plus we did have a conversation going on maybe a month ago with the founder of the World Food Championships, Mike McLeod, talking about the final table. And at that point, still was weeks away. Well, now we are literally days away for the very first unveiling of final table for, in essence, what is the closure to the 2017 World Food Championships. So once again, if you're not familiar with this setup, in years past or all of the years past of the World Food Championship, there has been a defined week, typically in November, where you have all of these cooking heats, if you will. You get your qualifiers, you get a top 10. Those top 10 cook off head-to-head at the end of the week, and an overall winner is determined all within that 7-day period. This is the first year, or now 2017, was the first year that they did all of that, except they held the top 10 aside. They didn't put them head-to-head, all the way at the end of that week to gain an overall winner coming out of 2017. Instead, they held those, or they reserved those top 10 and launched out the new final table structure, which is going to be taking place here this coming weekend, April 21st, April 22nd. So there has been a number of weeks and months in between. So we'll talk to Fred about, I'm sorry, maybe I just let the cat out of the bag. Fred Robles will be joining me to talk about that. Rio Valley Meats. He's the barbecue top 10 finalist, and he'll be going up against the other 9 to determine overall winner. So we'll get an idea of what he's thinking about, what he's gearing up for, what he's allowed to bring, who he's allowed to bring. Of course, if you follow World Food Championships or you have a insider track like I do, he didn't have too bad of a partner down in Alabama during the World Food Championships of 2017, that being Ernest Cervantes. Is he going to be able to bring Ernest with him? Is it just him? New posse? Mike said he gets to bring a pit. Is it going to be his pit? I mean, lots of questions to be answered here as we look ahead to what will inevitably crown a World Food Championship of what will be 2017, I guess. So that's what you have on tap. Your phone calls and emails as well. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. All right, so I wanted to make an announcement. First and foremost, if for whatever reason you are a huge fan of iHeartRadio, which I believe is Clear Channel in whatever existence that is these days, the show, the Barbecue Central Show, is now listed in iHeartRadio in the podcast section, which is a growing section of that whole platform. So if you don't like iTunes and you don't like Google Music and all this other stuff for whatever reason, the mainstream podcast catchers, this show is now available on iHeartRadio. So go to the website. I think you have to do a very basic sign up in order to gain access without being prohibited to listen, or you can download the iHeartRadio app. Maybe a lot of you have already done that. Then just go into the podcast section and search the Barbecue Central Show, and away you go. So now, not only is the number 1 barbecue podcast rated by NBBQA available on iHeartRadio, but now the number 5 podcast is available on the same radio station website. So if you like iHeartRadio, use that, search the show, and sign up there. I don't know if you can get notifications per se, like you can with the regular podcast platforms, but that's neither here nor there. We'll see how it goes. Let me know if you're an iHeartRadio fan. I would love to hear how that works out. In regards to podcast segments, I have talked about it numerously on this show here over the past handful of weeks. And, for years and years, ever since the release of the show, I've done the live show on a Tuesday. I have uploaded the show for podcasts, and you get the 120-minute dump. And then you listen to it at will. Over the last handful of weeks, I've been doing what John Dawson has called a nuggetization of the podcast, where I've either done it by segment and release over the course of a number of days. Last week, it was hour number 1 on a Wednesday, hour number 2 on a Thursday, just to see where the downloads come in and how much of the show is being consumed percentage-wise, because I do have some access to that now. And I think what it will ultimately look like, unless there is a completely different swing over the next couple weeks, is you will get hour number 1 on Wednesday. You will get hour number 2 on Thursday. It does have the capability of being a little bit less of a download time-wise, so you can consume it a little bit more. At least that's the reaction I'm getting from the podcasters that are writing in. I think going down section by section might be a little too much. You might lose a little continuity. And I think by and large, getting 1 hour on Wednesday and then the second hour on Thursday is going to work that sweet spot. Again, unless something completely blows up here over the next couple weeks and people say, hey, just do the 120-minute dump like we're used to. We'll hit the pause button. We've never really had that much of an issue with it anyway. But again, got to maximize the downloads as well. So that's what's going on with that. That's why you don't just get the whole 120-minute dump, at least over the last handful of weeks. Tinkering, if you will. Love to tinker. Want to make it just right. Hey, let me talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers, the #1 online shop for all things barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at Big Papa Smokers has been Pitmaster approved by Big Papa Sterling Ball himself. From the award-winning rubs and sauces to American-made grills and smokers, Big Papa Smokers has everything you need to be a better outdoor cook. Now, if you're a backyard barbecue fanatic or a competition pro, Big Papa Smokers has something for you. Known for the championship rubs and seasonings, popular flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, all proven winners on the competition circuit and in the backyard alike. Big Papa Smokers offers 13 perfectly balanced flavors that will transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. Whether you're cooking to impress the judges or grilling for family and friends, Big Papa Smokers' award-winning rubs and seasonings just don't disappoint. Pick them up by the bottle and truckload at BigPapaSmokers.com. Over the past few years, there's this little thing called the West Coast offense that a lot of the competition teams are looking to get at. Kind of cornered the market on competitive barbecue, redefined flavor profiles that cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. They also have an exclusive online partnership with Simply Marvelous Barbecue Rubs, so stop by that store and pick up some today. They also own the award-winning Granny's Barbecue Sauce. Looking for a new go-to barbecue sauce that would please everyone? Granny's traditional yet powerful flavors remind us why we fell in love with barbecue in the first place. Find Granny's Barbecue Sauce and other top-rated barbecue sauces at BigPapaSmokers.com. And aside from all the rubs and sauces, they also offer a great line of charcoal and pellet smokers. If you're in the line or the market for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out the Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. Big Papa's the exclusive Mac dealer, and they offer special packages. Nobody else does that. Not a fan of pellet smokers? All right. How about the Old Hickory Ace BP, the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer? Sure. If you're a backyard barbecue enthusiast like me, looking for a durable and versatile grill that's easy to use and will last forever, the M Grill from Texas is just what you need. They're built like tanks. Not sure of what grill you might need? That's fine. You really can't go wrong with any of the grills or smokers featured on BigPapaSmokers.com. They have something for every kind of backyard cook. So here's what we know. Let me surmise. Big Papa Smokers, the #1 place to go for all things barbecue. If you have any questions, you can call them at 877-828-0727 or visit them online at BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers.com, BigPapaSmokers.com. Steven Raichlen coming up. Stick around. Be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, this portion of the show being brought to you by Butcher's Barbecue, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, seasonings, barbecue sauces, grilling oils. All the Butcher Barbecue products have been tested on the competition circuit as well as in the backyard worldwide, so you can be the pitmaster of your neighborhood or the king of your cul-de-sac by visiting ButcherBBQ.com to stock up. Always trust your butcher. Always. All right. Well, tell you right now, we're not off to a good start. Well, maybe let me not jump ahead too much. I guess let me try this. Maybe we'll be all right. Hey, my first guest is seen the third Tuesday of each month on this show, a 2015 Barbecue Hall of Fame inductee, TV show host, a barbecue cooking class instructor, multiple-time author, and most importantly, a friend of this show. Let's race over to the hotline and welcome back Steven Raichlen to the show. Steven, how are you, my friend?
Hey, everybody. I'm good. How are you all?
Doing absolutely fabulous. Always appreciate you making time for the show, Steven. So a lot of things to get to right off the bat here. So, last month we kind of missed each other there in the air, but it was National Paia Day, the third Tuesday of that month. So for the folks that have no idea what paella is, and you did kind of a good piece on the blog there, what is paella and why should we consider having that this weekend or perhaps one night over the summer?
Well, paella is a sort of Spanish rice pilaf, and the reason it's of interest to our people is that it's traditionally cooked over a wood fire. And depending where you are in the south of Spain, you might find it cooked over an orange wood fire or a grapevine fire. You start with a large flat pan. In it, you saute what's called a sofrito, onions, garlic, red bell peppers. Then goes in a short grain rice, a little bit like Italian arborio. The traditional old-timey recipe, the proteins were snails and rabbit, whatever you could eat off the land. Most Americans think of a seafood paella today. But it's a spectacular dish. It's a great party dish because you can just make it for as many or as few people as you like. You cook it outdoors. When you cook it over a campfire, you get a wonderful smoky flavor. And in fact, we're doing it in the new Project Fire TV show. So I really had fun with it earlier this year.
Is there a specific paella pan that you need to get, or just however big of one you have, you can kind of make do?
Well, there is. Traditional paella pan has sides that slope upwards and outwards. It's made with carbon steel. It's got two handles on the sides, and depending on how many people you're cooking for, you can get a two-person paella, 12, 16, 18, 40-person paella pan. They come in all sizes.
Steven Raichlen joining me here on the show. You mentioned the TV show Project Fire, and that paella is going to be part of that.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit, or if we can kind of pull that curtain back, as I like to do with the folks that are doing TV. And, of course, nobody's been doing grilling and barbecue shows probably longer than you have, Steven. So as you are gearing up, let's talk a little bit about menu creation, and how far forward in advance are you looking at location and what the weather is going to be like, weeks out? And does that play into what kind of a menu you might be putting together?
Well, the menu is really put together the same way I put the menus for my barbecue university together, and that is from a pedagogical point of view. I'm thinking about what principles I want to teach, what techniques I want to show, what foods I want to feature, what themes I want to feature. We shot back at the Alisal Guest Ranch in Solvang, California. So obviously, wine a big influence. We did a show on wine country grilling. We did another show on Southern California grilling. We did a third show on pack rim grilling, because there's so much Asian influence in Southern California. And all of those factors enter into the menu planning. New this year, really exciting for me, is we did a series of road trips and field visits. So almost every show, you're going to see me at one of my favorite grilling restaurants, either in Los Angeles or in the Santa Ynez Valley. It's a great way for me, to introduce the people, introduce viewers to the people I learn from and admire, and also to get a different perspective.
How big of a crew do you take when you shoot one of these TV shows? Is it as trim and shoestring as we might think it might be, or is it a little bit more of a production?
Oh, I only wish, because it's a very expensive crew. We have about 20 when we're on the set. It's about 20 people. We've got 4 or 5 people in culinary. We've got 4 or 5 camera guys. We've got engineers. We've got the fire wranglers who set up the grills and light the chimney starters. the production coordinators. It's a big show. And then when we were on the road, that crew shrinks down to about 6 people, which is still a pretty substantial crew. By the way, the weather. I think there's a little Project Smoke, Project Fire curse. Once again, we were there the coldest week of the year. So when you see the behind the scenes shots, me, I'm kind of in a shirt or a sweater because I'm trying to look like it's summertime. You look at the crew there in parkas and wool hats, scarves. Yeah, it was bitterly cold.
So they're loaded down. You're talent in front of the TV trying to gut it out. Do you notice it when you are recording that the elements are a little bit unfriendly?
Yeah, we didn't have bad wind this year. You may remember from Project Smoke, year 2, we actually had a rainstorm come up during a Bristol segment, and my producer wisely decided to shoot through that. So that was kind of fun to see what it's really like, because that's what it's really like for people in the backyard. You can't control the weather. This year was just cold. We did some night shoots. One shoot we woke up, there was frost on the set in the morning. Had to wait for it to melt to start shooting.
How long of a process, or I guess the better question is, we're watching a finished show. Let's say we're watching, episode 2 of season 3, and we see it's all in a nice package, time fits and all this stuff. So we see the finished product, but how long does one episode take raw before we see it in its edited version?
It takes about 2 weeks to put the raw footage together. I would say for half an hour show, we're probably shooting 10 to 15 to 20 hours of tape. Remember, there are 3 main cameras, and then we've got GoPros, and we've got a drone. So all that has to be put together, cut down. I see it at what's called the rough cut stage, where they've cut it, more or less the time within 5 minutes. Go through it. It's pretty painful sometimes to watch yourself on television, but it's a lot of work goes into producing a show like that.
I mean, I would assume at this point you have trusted colleagues to where, maybe you don't want to be as brutal on yourself as you should be, or perhaps the opposite. Maybe you are too brutal on yourself. You have to have other sounding boards there that say, Steven, we should go back out and reshoot this because it's really not going to hit the mark. Or, hey, you're not as bad as you think here. I think we hit the marks. We covered everything we need to. This one's good, and let's move on to the next.
You do the best job you can under the circumstances. We do reshoot stuff, but, in effect, we've got 2 weeks to shoot the show, and we've got to get the material in those 2 weeks. Now, I'm going into a studio, an NPR studio down here in Miami tomorrow, and doing voiceovers, because that was another element we added this year. We're going to kind of do voiceovers to the show, which I think makes it more interesting. Every year, to some extent, it's an outdoor grilling show, but we always try and find a new approach, make it look new, make it feel new.
It does seem that the American public is requiring more and more access. I think you would agree that if you look back at those very first versions of BBQ University over in White Sulphur Springs, it was pretty. Steven's there, he's doing a recipe, he gets through it, and that's kind of it. You had a nice fire roaring in the background. Now you look at Project Smoke and what I imagine will be Project Fire, you get to see that portion, but then you're going to see if the wind comes up, and you're going to see what's happening behind the scenes. And people are almost requiring to have full access anymore, regardless if it's a Steven Raichlen production or the Kardashians or NBA basketball for that matter.
Well, we did it because you watch the old shows, you think it's just one guy in front of a camera, but it's a crew of 20, and I wanted to honor them, pay homage to them, and introduce them. And some of the crew becomes characters. Chris, our field chef, is a terrific guy. He's got a great personality on camera. He brings something to it. Nora, our food stylist, brings something to it. In the new show, you're gonna hear action. You'll even hear my director Matt kind of get into it when he says action. So it's fun. Making a TV show is it's an enormous amount of work. It's an enormous amount of fun. I wanted everybody to join in with me.
So this TV show is obviously supporting the Project Fire book. Do we have a firm release date on that?
Yeah, we do. I actually have copies in my hands now. The official launch date is May 1st. It's shipping. Oh my God, you got it! Look at that! Look at that! Yeah, hey, that's handsome.
Yeah, looks good.
So, and that's kind of a funny thrill. I mean, I've been writing books my whole life. This is my 31st, so
Wow.
uh, I know the process, but that moment when you get that FedEx pack with the first one off the press and you open it up and the years and years of work and the dozens of passes and takes and revisions and all, and then you see it in print. It's pretty thrilling.
Steven Raichlen joining me here on the show, barbecuebible.com, his website, of course. You are doing a book tour in order to support this book as well, like you've done pretty much with at least most of the books since we've kind of known each other here over the years.
Like I've done every year for the last 20 years.
I've noticed yet again, somehow, Cleveland, Ohio left off the book tour map. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on either, man, because that's always the first city I ask for. But, we're doing a lot of PBS fundraisers. So, I mean, I guess we got to get after your PBS station there and tell them to do a fundraiser with me.
We'll have to get on the horn with IdeaStream and tell them, let's get Steven Raichlen here so we can raise funds. I'll be on that for sure. Her boots on the ground here locally.
Good.
How does a tour stop come to be?
Well, I have a wonderful publicist at Workman Publishing, great publicity department, and they set up the tour. And first thing we do an outreach to PBS. We offer my services for fundraisers, so that kind of gives us a certain core number of cities. They're also we try and get a good geographic spread. I'm going to be in Denver for Barbecue University, so it makes sense to do a stop there. I've got friends and family in Los Angeles, so I'm always trying to get to LA, plus we shot all these field pieces for Project Fires. That'll be pretty interesting to return there. But a lot of work goes into it. It's long days for me. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times I'll be taking the 6:15 a.m. flight off of Martha's Vineyard to catch 2 other planes to get to wherever I need to go, and then do an event that night. But I like to say the only thing worse than doing a book tour is not doing a book tour.
So,
by the way, anybody wants to follow my schedule on my website, which is barbecuebible.com, click under Steven, which is in the top right-hand corner, and then look for Steven's schedule, and that'll tell you where I am.
So what's the expectation? I mean, obviously you are logging the hours and the time and doing all that stuff. From a tour stops patronage standpoint, like what's the expectation? Should we be able to think we can get a selfie with you or an autograph? If we buy the book, you'll sign the book. And will you take time out to talk shop with folks? Because obviously your time is at a premium as well.
That's one of the most fun things about book tour is kind of meeting readers and meeting fans, and absolutely, I take time with everybody that comes to a signing or a fundraiser. I love to spend time with people.
Steven Raichlen joining me here on the show. Steven, do you foresee a time that traveling the world and writing books is going to seem more like work at some point, and you decide to just get out of it altogether? Or do you not foresee that time at all?
Well, I mean, eventually the Grim Reaper comes for all of us at some point, but I'm pretty happy. I'm having a ball doing what I'm doing. I've got lots of ideas. I've got a new book in the works. I'm thinking about the next book after that. The Italian project was really fun. If anybody is watching you now from Italy, they know that my show Steven Raichlen Grills Italy is airing on Gambero Rosso. That was really fun. We're doing a book based on the show. We're talking about next season for the show. So, it's I'm not ready to slow down yet.
We had mentioned Barbecue University a little bit earlier here in the segment. Do you have a current menu or things, at least from a game plan, you might be looking to do during this session?
Yeah, absolutely. The theme of this year's Barbecue University is Surprise, Surprise, Project Fire. We'll be doing dishes from the book and the TV show. Again, it's the menus are planned really from a standpoint of what do I want people to learn, what do I want to show people. busy menus. We start off with 8 dishes in each 3-hour class, but that's just the bare minimum. When we get a good class, I think our record is 24 dishes in one class.
Wow.
It's people learn and grow with the school. Absolutely.
Is it for everybody? Is it geared more for like a beginner and an intermediate to raise the skill up, or can an expert level person get in there and figure out a dime or two to take with them, better their skills?
Well, we try and plan the classes so that there's something in each class for everybody in terms of skill level. And, the neophyte may want to learn how to grill a perfect steak. And someone a little bit more advanced may want to tackle a brisket or do a porchetta. So there's something in the class for everybody.
Steven, let me ask you one last question here, a little bit of a departure from live fire as we typically talk about here on the third Tuesday of every month. But, with your background in live fire, obviously, we know all about the background, the literature major, and then, obviously getting into the cooking as well. Do you ever put away the grill and smoker and throw down in a kitchen cooked style meal that would be somewhere in the 5-star or Michelin star establishment type meal?
Well, I do cook indoors. Rarely, I must say, but I do. But I would say my food is more bistro food rather than Michelin 3-star food. I'm not a fussy guy. I've gotten less fussy over the years. It's funny. I was looking at my first book a few days ago, which was written right after I came back from cooking school in Paris. And I mean, I was making puff pastry from scratch. I was making brioche dough from scratch. I was doing salmon calibiacs. I was doing beef Wellington. And my food is much simpler than that now. Interestingly, though, in the Project Fire TV show, we did a fish show, and I resurrected the salmon calibiac, only this version is on the grill. That was pretty fun.
The TV show starts Memorial Day weekend, correct?
That is correct, on PBS.
All right, so check out the website, barbecuebible.com, and Memorial Day weekend, PBS, you have the Project Fire TV show. In the meantime, and the third Tuesday of each and every month, you can find them right here talking live fire cooking with me on the Barbecue Central Show. Steven, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Greg, always, you do a great job. Thank you.
You got it. There he is, Steven Raichlen. Come on, Barbecue Bible, right? Yeah, that's where you can find him, I think.
All guests appear via the Traeger Grills hotline.
And I will credit Steve Ray with that last question, because here's what I'm doing. If we're pulling back curtains, I do reach out to some of my advisors and say, hey, here's who's going to be on the show this week. Do you have any extra questions? Or here's my outline. What would you like to hear? What I wanted to ask him about as well, and we just weren't going to have the time to get through it, is you would recall, maybe it was a couple months ago, I was really big on what the hell is going on with Bloody Marys. And it used to be a drink with vodka and something that looked like V8, the Bloody Mary mix. You remember I had the lady on from Texas? What was her name? Oh, damn it. Well, she was like, it was barbecuer's wife or Bloody Mary wife, but she had like top of the line Bloody Mary mix, and it was triple the price of Mrs. T's or Zing Zang or whatever, but it was, from all accounts, a tremendously better product than what you could get on the store shelves for a number of different reasons. She was going to send me a bottle, and that didn't happen.
Get that big stuff out of here.
In the end, it worked out because, I don't do that anymore. I don't drink anymore. So it would have been wasted now. Don't send it now. It's going to be a waste. Well, not a waste, but everybody else will get to drink but me. I'll send it to Kinger, and he can make a Bloody Mary booze team. Hey, Green Mountain Grills is really stepping up the game when it comes to the pellet world. That's right. They have 3 different cookers that you can choose from. Or you don't have to choose from. You can just buy all 3 and allow them to fit within your cooking vernacular. So you have a Jim Bowie, which is like the biggest one. You can fit multiple racks of ribs, multiples, especially if you have rib racks. You can do probably 6 pork butts, maybe 3 or 4 if you put them in pans, if you cook them in pans all the way through. Really good size there. Then you have the Daniel Boone, which is the medium size. Without pans, you're probably looking at least 4 8 to 10 pound pork butts. Again, a good full packer on there. Then if you want something a little bit more portable, what are you going to want to look at? The Davy Crockett. That's right. Now, if you don't even have a plug to use with that Davy Crockett, no worries. As long as you have a vehicle with a 12-volt outlet, you can just use the 12-volt adapter, stick it right in there, and you're off and running. Now, you're not sacrificing the capacity with the portability of Davy Crockett. I mean, are you going to be able to do 10 pork butts on? No. Show me any portable cooker that you're going to be able to do 10 pork butts on. But can you get 2 or maybe 3? Yeah, depending on how you TP them up there, you certainly could. Now, with the Daniel Boone and the Jim Bowie, you know what I'm going to talk about right now, right? The pizza oven insert. Pizza ovens are taking off, but you don't have to spend $15,000 and $20,000 and $30,000 importing a Bravo Fornetta pizza oven from Italy. You don't have to do that. If you have a Daniel Boone or a Jim Bowie, you can just go get the pizza oven insert for like $150. Then you rip out the guts of the cooker, you put the pizza oven insert right down on top of the fire pot, and then, for point of reference, whatever you set the cooker at, you can double that. That's roughly where you're cooking at on the pizza stone. So 350 degrees on the cooker will get you about 700 degrees on the stone. I'm more in that 325 range, 320 range. I find that works best for me. I'll sacrifice adding another minute and a half onto the cook so I can get my crust right, make sure that I get proper cooking all the way through. You get up too high, at least in my experience, you can get out of control pretty quick. Then you have to have a well-seasoned pizza to eat, but that's all right, whatever you like. But you have that control flexibility. GreenMountainGrills.com, GreenMountainGrills.com. They have pellets to fire those cookers, also rubs and sauces. So hit them up, GreenMountainGrills.com, and we're back with Brett Galloway from the Steak Cook-Off Association. Stick around, I'll be right back.
Ready to get on the air? Call 216-220-0966. Now, let's get back to the LeBron James of Barbecue Talk, Craig Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by CookingPellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. You can visit CookingPellets.com for more information, to see their flavors to buy and to purchase directly. Or if you would rather not, you can go to Amazon.com and purchase as well. If you're going to buy through Amazon, go to my website first, thebbqcentralshow.com. And then click on the Amazon link at the top, then search for Cooking Pellets. Everybody wins there. Thanks to Chris Becker and folks over at CookingPellets.com. We're going to be lining up him for another interview here sooner than later to go over some new products that they have coming out here eventually as well. Hey, who loves steaks? Well, most of us do, that's for sure. And more of us starting to get interested in the Steak Cook-Off Association contest. That's what it's all about. In fact, the third Tuesday of the month here is typically bringing a visit from one of the founders of the Steak Cook-Off Association. So let's go ahead and race to the Traeger Grills hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Brett Galloway. Brett, how are you, buddy?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely
Doing
fabulous.
Great.
Appreciate you making time for the show, as always, Brett. And a number of things to get to here during our segment time this month. A lot of events have taken place since we got together about 4 weeks ago, not the least of which was the one that was just most recently taking place this past weekend. But, you know, I remember last month I said, hey, would there be a possibility if we went to the east side of Cleveland and did like a team of 50 and the top 25 get brought out from there, and then we go to the west side, same thing, top 25, then we have right smack dab in the middle of Cleveland, those 25 meet for an overall championship. I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but there was a triple in Nebraska this weekend.
Yeah, Troy Youngblood set this thing up at Helping You Barbecue, and we had 39 teams from 10 different states made their way over there.
Wow.
And, gosh, we even had guys from Florida that came up 22 degrees. Couldn't paint the great event. It was great. Guys had an awesome time.
When weather is getting that frightful, Do you find that the spirits become even more cozy, or are people like, man, this kind of really sucks?
No, I think they turn to the spirits instead of beer.
To keep them warm, right? Yeah, I get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Warm it up going down. So I believe I saw the first day was actually pretty decent, and then overnight it went really bad, and then that carried through the third day, correct?
Yeah, it just kind of deteriorated over the 2 days. They had 2 on the first day and 1 on the second day. But, gosh, we had one, I think it was 6 guys got calls multiple days out of the 3 events. And then the way it turned out, we also did an overall grand champion there, and Robert Perkins ended up winning that, which is also leading our points chase. And Dan Judd got second, and Casey Jones out of Florida ended up third overall. Casey Jones was on the Miracle in the Hudson, the plane that went down.
Really?
He's got a cook team called Miracle in the Kitchen, and he's a really fascinating guy. It's one of the many great characters of SCA. He's a great conversation. He's got stories.
How many times does he have to roll over that story?
Oh, man.
Every cook-off he shows up to?
Every cook-off he shows up. He's got actually his business card has a picture of him standing on the wing.
Wow.
But great cook. He ended up third on the first day, and he got another call one of the other days. So I think it was a great time. It was our first triple. We do a lot of double, weekends where there's double, whether they're in one location or, it may be 50 miles away from the other. But, hats off to Troy. He pulled this off. Him and Steve did a great job running it, and nothing but great feedback on it.
And this is all in one location, 3 separate contests all in one location.
3 separate contests, all in one location, with a Bloody Mary contest, I think, and a chicken wing contest.
So you said on the first day there were 2 events. So when does the first one go off, and then how much time do they have in between to set up for the second one? And then do you have to bring in like all new sets of judges, or does everything stay the same?
They had a different set for both cookings. So that, I believe their first one they had turn in at 2:00. They did awards at 3:30, and then they took steaks again, and I believe they turned in at 6 or so on the second round.
And then
so they chose steaks twice.
And then that third day, when does that start?
They had it early, like an 8:00 cooks meeting, which is really early for us. But I think they were done by 1:00.
So you want
everyone could still drive home.
Yeah, I was gonna say you want everybody to get out of there after grinding through 3 events in 2 days, right?
Yeah. It's a grind.
So overall, the overall awards, you just taking total points for top 3, and that's how you're coming out with the overall awards, then?
I believe they took total points for the top 10, and then just combined those together. That's the way we usually do it.
Now, getting an overall winner out of 3 doesn't contribute to more points for the SCA Team of the Year kind of stuff, correct?
No, it wasn't points. It's just bragging rights. And, these guys, they're all out there to have fun with each other, but they also take it serious and they want the bragging rights. This guy, he overall won the whole triple. So that's kind of neat for him.
All right, so how much money can be won if I won all 3 separate events? How much money am I taking home?
Each one was $1,000 first place, and then I think they paid $500 for the overall, if I remember right.
Oh, so there was cash to win for the overall as well.
I believe there was, yes.
All right, so $3,500, and then what was the entry fee for that?
It was $375 total. It was $150 each event, or they gave you $375 a discount if you cooked all 3.
All right. So that's pretty minimal investment for the potential return you're going to get. How far or how deep were they paying out?
They paid top 10.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think 6 through 10 got their gas money back, but top 5 paid pretty darn good, and then 6 to 10 got some gas money, and they also paid out the other ancillaries.
Brett Galloway joining me here on the show. SteakCookoffs.com is the website in case you want to check out where a event might be popping up near you. Or, I mean, geez, sounds like this past weekend it didn't matter if it was near you or not. People driving from Florida to Nebraska potentially facing life-threatening weather. I mean, that's quite a pull.
Yeah, guys really showed up. It was neat to see the guys still, even with the weather, they came in for it. And we had 7 events last weekend, so it was a big weekend all around. Had event in Australia and Japan, and so it was very spread out, but a great weekend. Same thing this weekend. I believe there's 8 events this weekend, or 9.
So if you look over the last 3 or 4 weeks since our last conversation, what, aside from this triple, obviously, which you said was the first one of its kind so far since SCA's been around, what are some of the other marquee events that have transpired?
We did one in Greencastle, Pennsylvania, and that was actually with a barbecue, Eric Forster's event, and that was the Ironman. They had to cook just one of each. They could cook 1 rack of ribs and a brisket and so many chicken. Anyway, we did a steak cook-off there, and that was a great event. We had I think we had 46 teams there. We actually picked up 2 new events in Virginia and 1 in Delaware and 1 possibly in Ohio. So that market's starting to go good. It's starting to really pick up out there, which is exciting.
Somebody wanted me to ask specifically, and while I never try to mention this state by name, they wanted to know if Michigan had anything potentially planned for it.
I am actually talking to a gentleman from a grill company in Michigan that wants to do one, and I'm hoping to get that done. Hopefully by the time I'm on the show next time, I'll have that for you.
So is percentage-wise, and I think we've had this conversation before, I've asked you this question before, do you have a percentage of how many SCA events are tied into a festival or a barbecue cook-off or something else versus a standalone SCA event?
80% are standalone.
Oh, wow.
About 20% are in conjunction with another organization or another cook-off. A lot of them are, even if they're standalone, can be part of a festival. But, just being hooked to a barbecue competition, it adds new life. It brings in new people that have not tried SCA before. So it is a good vehicle for people to try out SCA.
But it does seem by and large that if it was just Greg Rempe's inaugural steak cook-off and that was it, that business model is proven out to be very successful anyway.
Yeah, that's our bread and butter. I mean, that's what we build things on, and it's just a different environment. It's a 1-day deal, so guys can come in. It's a family environment. Everybody gets there in the morning and they leave in the afternoon. You can still make it home. The investment's small. The payout's good. We provide the steaks, or the promoter does. So it is the model works well.
Brett, I know one of the other items that we were sketching out here to talk about is the new location, and I think you said date for the SCA Final Championships.
Yeah, we moved that. It's actually the weekend of October 6th, but we're actually in a new location. It's Panther Island Pavilion, which is right downtown, right on the river, very similar to a setting like Memphis in May. We'll be right on the river. The backdrop for it is downtown Fort Worth. We've got room for 400 teams. We're probably actually going to have about 150 to 175, but it's room to grow in the future. So we're very excited.
So
it's our own date.
Putting that deal together, do you talk multiple year kind of a deal with this location, or is that a year by year event and evaluation?
We've talked to them about staying there in the future because we want to have a home. We had a great home at Billy Bob's. It was the largest honky tonk in the world. It was a fun place, but we love this atmosphere of the new place, and we hope to be there for a long time.
So you said that this is your own date, which is great. I know that was key for you and some of the other folks there at SCA. One of the other things is your partnership or in conjunction with World Food Championships. And, I'm wondering if there's like any update in regards to any of that. And then, of course, from an entry fee side, will there be the standard $100, $150, or will it be a $300 charge like there are for other categories?
All right. That one, it's going to be a $300 entry fee. It's the same fee as all the other categories.
Yeah.
But these guys, the steak guys, were the exclusive qualifier for the steak division. And the guys have a chance. We're going to pay top 10 on the preliminary rounds. And then once they get to the kitchen, World Food is going to pay top 10 in there. And then just like Lisa Watney, that's an SCA member, she's in the finals this weekend. And she's got a chance for $100,000. Mike's got a great deal going.
Do you think that it adds a certain amount or even a bigger level of legitimacy to SCA? I mean, obviously you guys have been growing like crazy, not only here domestically, but as you take a look outside this country, there's SCA events going on all over the place. When you align with World Food Championships, do you think that kind of cements the popularity of what you guys have been able to build so far?
I don't know if it's necessarily that, but we're proud to be part of that. It's a great event. We love working with KCBS. We love working with, the ABA over in Australia. So it's just another partnership with us that we can hopefully expose ourselves to new people and hopefully keep growing.
What's the current top 10 standings like? I know you had mentioned that Robert currently is in first place, and he's the guy that won the overall of that triple this past weekend. But what are we looking at from the other top guys right now and gals?
Oh, man, you'd ask me that. Robert's in first, Dan Judd's. Kendall Adair is in second. He's not too far behind. He's from Boar's Night Out, the big NBN team. Casey Jones out of Florida is in third. And I'd be lying if I said I knew the rest. I'm sorry. Darn it. I just did this today also. Darn it.
Well, that's all right. We got the top three. Big events upcoming weekend, and then, of course, here over the next 2-3 weeks.
This weekend we've got a double event in Mississippi. There's one in Greenwood, one in Horn Lake. We've got events in. You could do a double down in Texas and hit Georgetown, and you could hit Goliad. We've got another one out in Andrews, Texas. We've got 7 events total this weekend. So there's really, it's kind of spread around. Guys can hit one anywhere they're at. And, with the new events coming to the east, and then we've got events coming to, Arizona. You were talking about the pizza. Sterling Smith's doing a pizza as an ancillary in Tempe, Arizona on June 2nd.
I remember last year, I think, were you guys in Kentucky or was it Memphis where you did, it was steaks, but then you also did, or did you do pork steaks in place of steaks altogether, that one competition last year?
We've done pork steak as an ancillary probably about 5 or 6 times. Last weekend they wanted an ancillary of, we did deviled eggs. It was crazy, but I wish I would have judged. I'm just glad I didn't have to ride home with judges afterwards.
No
that
doubt.
Would have been...
Well, that seems like it would be very dangerous. Like those things could go bad very quickly and people could be getting sick.
Well, the good news, it was about 60 degrees and rainy, so I don't think anything got into any danger zone. We wouldn't do that in the summer.
Is there always an ancillary category?
There usually is. If it's a standalone, there's 1 or 2 ancillaries. It just gives guys something to do during the afternoon, but it also keeps everybody involved. Maybe the spouse might want to cook the appetizer, or we have a kids cook-off, or we'll do desserts. It's just another way for others to get a call and to compete.
Brett Galloway from the Steak Cook-Off Association is typically found right here on the third Tuesday of every month, letting us know what happened and what is coming up. Brett, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for doing it.
Thanks, buddy. Have a great night.
You too. There he is, Brett Galloway from the Steak Cook-Off Association.
All guests appear via the Traeger Grills hotline.
I mean, you can't argue with how popular the Steak Cook-Off Association is running right now. I mean, they had 40 teams doing 3 separate events, 2 in one day, no less. Then backing it right up the next day for a third and final steak cook-off. I think somebody heard my idea last week and then took it from me. What's going on with my camera? Hold on a second. I'm probably not going to be able to... Oh, maybe I will. I don't know what happened. Hey, let me talk to you quickly about Cook Shack. Makers of smoker ovens for barbecue lovers with any amount of experience, whether you barbecue in the backyard, in the competition scene, a 5-star dining facility. Cook Shack has the unit that will do the job, and with a full line of barbecue sauces, spices, pellets, and wood chunks, the perfect one-stop shop it is. Cook Shack strives to be your barbecue resource center by offering cooking classes, online recipes, how-to videos, 2 blogs, smoke and grilling 101s, and a video cooking classroom. Check out their website at cookshack.com or follow them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+. Get advice and share your passion for barbecue on their world-class barbecue forum. Cook Shack pellet-fired smokers are the choice of champions because they were designed by a champion. Ed Fast, Eddie Moore, and the FEC 100, PG 1000, always customer favorites. The PG-1000 actually doubles as a smoker and a grill, low and slow, hot and fast. The pellet grill line gives you the most for your money. Cook Shack Residential Electric Smokers, the #1 smoker in the industry. High quality means high durability and versatility. Anything you can cook in your oven, you can make in a Cook Shack. Passion and dedication drives the Cook Shack's manufacturing, with quality always being at the forefront. Get the best in barbecue since 1962. Call 800-423-0698 or visit cookshack.com. That's cookshack.com. How about we try and win something? Stick around. I'll be right back.
Now's the time where we give stuff away. People give us stuff on the show to give away at no money for you. That's why it's free. Send an email on its way when I tell you to. That's why we give stuff away.
All right, your chance to win a freshly minted Barbecue Central Show t-shirt in sizes extra large, double extra large, triple extra large, and quadruple extra large. All you have to do is be the first one to send me an email, and in the subject line, put Steak Cook-Off Rocks. And you can get your hands on a brand new Barbecue Central Show t-shirt to wear around the land promoting the show. Not the land like Cleveland, but around your land, your hometown. Whatever you like to call it. Village, township. Email, subject line, Steak Cook-Off Rocks. Good luck.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. Thanks again to Brett Galloway. Waiting to see the emails roll in. Let me go over to the email address. All right, we got a winner. And the winner is Tim Rogers. Congratulations, Tim. Good for you. Other ones rolling in right now, just a little bit late. So, Tim, congratulations, you win. Re-email me, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com with your shirt size and with your shipping address. Subject line t-shirt winner, please. And I will get those out. I got 2 or 3 other t-shirts going out tomorrow. Anyway, double extra large is becoming a item of concern. Triple and quad still plentiful. Extra large would be the next one that's kind of running out at this point on this run of those gray high-quality tri-blend shirts with the new logo on them. So congratulations. Send me that info, and I'll get that shirt out to you tomorrow. All shirts ship USPS priority flat rate. Yeah, that's right. Who's doing steak cook-off competitions this year? If I didn't hear incorrectly, I believe Brett said that there was an event that might be jumping off in Ohio. Now, that's kind of a big state, unless it's up here in the Cleveland area. But, I would be willing to travel, 25, dare I say 30 minutes radius. That puts me about 2 miles into the lake if we're going north. But that put me in such tropical places as Akron, Perry, as far west as Lakewood, yeah, as far south as Strongsville. So we'll see. Brett, let me know where that event's going to be in Ohio. I might cook it and win it. You heard it here. I might cook it and win it. All right, let's step away and reload for the second hour. You are listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. Be right back.
This is Rennie Knopf with ChampionshipBBQ.tv, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me! Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. Boing. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. Welcome aboard. Luckily, you have found the Barbecue Central show, whether it's by mistake or on purpose. The show covers the world of live fire, barbecue, and grilling stuff at an incredibly professional rate. Just go ahead and tune in to some of those other programs and see what you get. That's right, Austin Carr. Hey, speaking of Austin Carr, what's happening tomorrow? One of us is going to the Cavs game tomorrow. That's right. Since tomorrow is opposite day, I got floor seats. You know what I mean? So Brett Galloway, just for those that did not hear that, said that their new event is going to be taking place at Panther Island, right there in downtown Fort Worth in October. So stick around for that. I believe they went October too because they're going to be knee-deep inside World Food Championships that second week in November, so I would assume that that's probably why they decided to roll off a little bit into October and get their own date, as they said, kind of a freestanding date. It's going to be all their own, and then they can focus next that following month in November on the World Food Championship side of things, since they're going to be locked up with Mike McLeod and the gang over at WFC. Still to come on the show, Belinda Niebling here in about 12 minutes. Talk a little Smithfield, and then helping me close the show, Fred Robles from Rio Valley Meats, talking a little World Food Championship final table. Once again, if you're just tuning in here and you missed the first hour, the World Food Championships is going to have their final table contest this coming weekend. Now, this isn't a introduction to this year's World Food Championships. This is actually the closure of the 2017 World Food Championships. There was the WFC event in November of last year that crowned the top 10, and those people have been reserved and brought to media, and they've done whatever they've done here over the last basically 5 months. Is that right? December, January, February, March. Yeah, so we're going right around 5 months by the time it all gets said and done here this coming weekend to get a 2017 overall grand champion. All 10 will be showing up in Bentonville in that, I believe it's called Brightwater Professional Kitchen area, and they will be competing to get an overall winner crowned, and so we'll see how that plays out. You know, last week I had Meathead from Amazing Ribs on, and he was talking about, amongst other things, getting your grills and barbecues in shape for what some of you folks call a grilling season. Now, I know the majority of us don't use that word, season. Now, we'll put seasoning on the food that we cook, but no season when it comes to live fire cooking for us. No. Bring on the snow, bring on the rain, bring on the heat. Cold heat, dry heat, warm heat, doesn't matter. We will cook in all and any weather conditions, but some of you, maybe you're new to the game, believe that grilling and barbecue starts on Memorial Day and then summarily ends on Labor Day and everything gets rolled away and put again until the following Memorial Day. Well, fine. If that's what you're going to do, if you're not going to exercise your gaskets on your cookers and barbecues, you're going to need to get them in shape. However, I want to share with you a video, and maybe you have seen it circulating around the worldwide social media channels. And this is a lesson on something that you should never do. Ever. Never, ever. And I want to give it to you on a visual, so if you are listening to this on podcast, go to my Facebook page right now, facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, and get this video, run all the way to an hour and 5 minutes in, or maybe an hour and 8 minutes in, or whatever it's going to be, and watch what I'm about to show you. And know that if you ever find yourself in this situation, don't do with this guy. No matter how good, no matter how crunked, no matter how much cocaine and crack and heroin and H and X and Special K and Red Death and all this other stuff that you people get your hands on and do illegally, it's illicit. No matter what drugs and alcohol you've been drinking, if you ever find yourself in this situation, do not do what this guy is going to do. But I need to show it to you because some of you are more, let's say, visual learners. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this here. So here's my man right here. As you can see, this is a pretty impressive backyard setup, right? I mean, it's all brick. He's got a huge grilling surface. There's what I would call a fairly involved fire going on right now. He's got an ample supply of wood down on the bottom right-hand side, so he can keep that thing going for quite a while. I don't know if that's a all-wood fire that's burning, but I would imagine with the amount of flame that's jumping off and coming through the grilling grates, it's probably a fully involved all-wood-burning fire. And somebody is taping this guy. Now, if you look off to the left-hand side, he's got like a little Rubbermaid tote full of some white stuff. Like, what is he doing here? Now, here's what I want to tell you. You can tell right now, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. This guy has a small Rubbermaid tote full of what I believe were described as paraffin starter cubes, like you get from Weber to start your charcoal chimney. Except he's probably got like 300 in that thing, okay? Make sure I duck the sound out of this because I don't want to get launched by Bruno Mars. So watch what this guy does. Boom! Okay. In case you missed it, right? Oh, can I go back? No. Right here, you can see starting to go. Now it's exploding. Now, here's a great freeze frame right here. The fire initially, for like 1/2 second, is doused, then recovers, and eats all of the starter cubes, and then pukes them back out, plus flame and ash and all of this other stuff. And now he is caught in the middle of it. This is literally a life-threatening situation when it comes to live fire that I've seen in the most vibrant example of stupidity and what never to do. I mean, it's a fire, right? Don't throw fire starters on top of a fire. Maybe 1 or 2 if you're feeling confident. Not 300. Once again, watch this guy in full. Up, down, let's go ahead. No, do it. Now it explodes on him. He gets pushed back. I can't believe the guy jumps up. He's running back to the deck here now. And you can see that thing is like he's tearing his shirt off. He's burned quite a bit on his left-hand side. But, I mean, just, folks, I mean, what are we doing? Why are we throwing fire cubes and fire starters on fires? It's already on fire. I know it seems like a great idea. I know you probably thought about it for 2 or 3 seconds, Like, hey, I got these really cool fire starters. I have this really big fire that I've worked up. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out. Ugh. Who needs it? Don't do that. So hopefully you went from podcast to my video to check that out. Please don't ever do that. Hey, I want to give a special mention This coming courtesy of John Dawson, also KRDO.com, Channel 13 News. Funeral for fallen Thunderbird pilot scheduled for this coming Sunday. Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, the United States Air Force Thunderbirds have announced the funeral for fallen pilot Major Steven Cajun Del Bango. Squadron posted on their Facebook page Friday night. Del Bango will have a public funeral at 4:44 p.m. on Sunday. The service is set to take place at Saugus High School in Santa Clarita, California. The post said Del Bagno will receive full military honor, including a 21-gun salute, taps, and a flyover of the F-35 Lightning itself and F-16 Falcons. Del Bagno was new to the Thunderbirds team this year and was Thunderbird number 4, the slot pilot for the team. Del Bagno was killed when his F-16 fighter Falcon crashed during a routine training over the Nevada tests and training range Wednesday, April 4th. I don't know if you've ever seen the Thunderbirds happen in real life, but wow. Talk about top-notch training, nerves of steel. So very sorry to see that and hear about that. So if you're going to be around there and you want to pay your respects, do that. Again, that's going to be Friday, 4:44 p.m. Hey, let me talk to you quickly about Southside Market and Barbecue. And attention, business owners, especially anyone who loves sausage and barbecue, which is most of us. What do you know about Southside Market and Barbecue? Let me tell you. Established in 1882, Southside is the oldest barbecue joint in Texas and has been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations. They're famous for the original beef sausage. That's a coarse ground beef in a natural pork casing. And of course, they're known for their authentic Central Texas barbecue. All the meats, including their prime briskets, are slow smoked for many hours over real Texas post oak wood. They ship nationwide via the online store, SouthsideMarket.com. Keep that in mind here in just 1 second. They ship fresh and smoked sausages nationwide. Shipping customers can also choose to order now and then ship later. Include a custom gift note if you want, and mail to multiple addresses without additional charges. So basically, you can send to 10 different places and you're not charged a separate fee for 10 different places, saving you money while you're spreading the barbecue love. All shipped items are vacuum sealed to ensure freshness and ease of preparation for the customer, shipped with dry ice to ensure complete freshness upon arrival. All meats processed in the on-site USDA-inspected facility. On-site meat markets for fresh and smoked products. Custom orders available as well. Give them a call. 2 restaurants to try out if you're going to be in the area. Elgin, Texas since 1882. Bastrop, Texas since 2014. Grocery distribution through Texas and most surrounding states. Here's the kicker. Go to SouthsideMarket.com and order up. Then use coupon code BBQ Central, all one word, lowercase, BBQ Central, and get 10% off your entire order when done online. Again, that's coupon code BBQ Central for 10% off when you shop at SouthsideMarket.com. That's SouthsideMarket.com. And if you had not had the beef sausage, a Texas treat, second to none. Hook up with it. Coupon code BBQ Central, SouthsideMarket.com. 10% off all online orders just for podcasters and live listeners. Hey, let's get a Smithfield update out of the break. Stick around. Be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show, of course, brought to you by Smithfield. That's right. We're going to be talking about the Committed Cooks program here coming up here in just a few minutes. Here's what I want to tell you. If you have access to the Smithfield line of fresh pork products, whether it's the black label, whether it's the extra tender, the prime, all that good stuff, try it out if you haven't gotten your hands on it yet. Of course, you can always keep up with what's happening over at Smithfield by going to the website smokingwithsmithfield.com for the latest promotions, updates. And, of course, if you are competing and you're already a member of the Committed Cooks program and you finish first or second or whatever in your pork ribs and pork butt or pork shoulder categories, make sure that you hit up Facebook and Instagram and hashtag show us your Smithfield. That way you can tell everybody that what you're cooking with wins. Because as we all know, top pork cooks in the country are winning and using Smithfield because of consistency, because of quality, and because of accessibility. So there you go. All right, Smithfield continues to support the world of barbecue and grilling, both in the backyard and on the competition scene. The 2018 version of the Committed Cooks program and the Smithfield Grant program, once again, incredibly popular in their interest from the community. Here to give us some updates on Committed Cooks program, as well as some other items that are going to be going on during the course of this year, is the Senior Account Executive for Edge Marketing, first-timer to the show. Let's go ahead and welcome Belinda Niebling. Hey, Belinda.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Belinda. Appreciate you making time for the show this evening. So I guess before we get into the associated Smithfield talk, since this is your first time on the show, a little bit of background on you, where you're from, if you're a live fire barbecue grilling enthusiast, what's the whole deal there?
Awesome. Well, born and raised Kansas City. So excited and so much fun to be working with the Smithfield ladies of barbecue. We have a lot of fun. We work really hard. But of course, yes, we absolutely live and breathe our ribs and pork. So any opportunity I can get to try some of my Pit Masters samples, I am happy to indulge them.
So how does Edge Marketing and Smithfield work together? As like two separate entities? Are you guys pretty much working hand in hand in projects? How does that business relationship work?
Yeah, so Smithfield and Edge have worked together for quite a few years now, and my role was actually created almost a year ago for an opportunity to really grow the barbecue marketing positioning for Smithfield. Obviously, those of you who know the Smithfield brand, I mean, Smithfield is barbecue. We want to be everywhere you guys are. And I think where Edge fits into that is really giving an opportunity to remind you of the Smithfield products when you're at the grocery store. So we do a lot of shopper marketing. So my team and I work to make sure we make Smithfield look good.
Belinda Niebling joining me here on the show. We're talking about some Smithfield stuff here going on currently, and then what might be coming up here over the course of the year. I hate to put you on the spot, Belinda, but since you're KC, and I was in KC last year for my first time, we were in for a volleyball tournament, so we hit up Anton's Steakhouse for some high-level steak, which was top 2 or 3 that both me and my daughter have had in our current high-level steakhouse meanderings as we get through the country for volleyball traveling when it's just me and her. But, of course, we had to hit up some barbecue restaurants. My favorite ended up being Slaps Barbecue, and Plowboys was right there, of course, Q39 indeed, but Slaps took it for me. What's your favorite barbecue in KC?
Oh, what a toughie. You know, I've been really fortunate to grow up around it. So, of course, I get really spoiled when I have all these awesome cooks cooking for me.
Right.
But I got to go, gosh, Gates. There's just something about the experience of being down there.
Really?
You don't want to get yelled at when you get your food?
I don't know. I mean, usually I feel a little weird when I'm getting yelled at, but, you know, a part of me does kind of like it, I guess. Belinda, let's talk a little bit about the Committed Cooks program. That's something that this show has been hyping up. I know when I had originally had Emily Detweiler on the beginning of the year, you know, it was expanded from the year previous because there was so much interest in that first year. So how did it end up rolling out? Is it fully closed off at this point? I know we were looking at like 500 slots. How's that rolled out?
Yeah, I am thrilled to say it was a very, very speedy response. Once we got everything live and announced the program, we hit that 500 cooks cap in just 3 weeks. So
Really?
yikes, exciting for us, but obviously just a reminder, we want to keep expanding and keep growing the program because it's so much fun and it's so great to be able to reach those cooks on all different levels and really continue that conversation of barbecue with people who love it just as much as we do.
So everybody loves to get online and hashtag this and hashtag that, and maybe they're a committed cook. Maybe they're not. And we certainly know that brands are really paying attention to how their brand names and products are being positioned online anymore. So from a social media aspect, are there any programs that are currently going on or things that you're monitoring from a hashtag standpoint that people can participate in?
There are. Our 2018 cooks were encouraged to hashtag walk-in with Smithfield. That is our new program for the 18 season. And this year, as opposed to those who participated last year, this year we really want to give that credit where credit is due because some of these teams are just kicking butt.
Yep.
So every time they get that first place win in ribs and pork, we ask them to come back to smokingwithsmithfield.com and report on those wins. Show it, brag it, tell me everything about it. Obviously, hashtag Smoking with Smithfield. It's a great way to catch my attention. Of course, you guys can always add me on social media as well. That way I'm sure not to miss any of your wins. But we just want to give those teams the bragging rights they deserve because we're so proud of those 500 cook teams. It's amazing.
Belinda, from a walk-in with Smithfield standpoint, what kind of a reaction are you seeing that or how often, and is it being used in the right ways?
Absolutely. So we honestly, the first round of, or the first submissions I received right about that February 15th marker. So we're looking at right at 2 months, and we've already seen 15 teams and counting who have gotten that first place win. And there's such cool prizes this year too. I mean, really high dollar stuff. If you haven't stopped by smokingwithsmithfield.com to check out these goodies, I mean, I'm talking a cool Carhartt tote,
wow.
The coveted wagon everybody wants, the director's chair, and even a really fun when you're tailgating M grill. So definitely check those out. Keep me posted. I can't wait to see and hear all about it.
Now, in order to do Smoking with Smithfield, do you have to be a signed up committed cook in order to do that?
So for the 2018 season, yes, we are at capacity. We are all signed up,
right.
But it's one of those things. Obviously, if you're using Smithfield products, still tell me about it. I want to see that Smoking with Smithfield hashtag as well. Hashtag Smoking with Smithfield on social media. Show me where you found your products, etc. I mean, it's so fun to see how huge this community is. But obviously, as we get ready to roll out our 2019 program later this fall, I think we'll have some interesting builds. We're growing that program as well as a few of our other programs. And I have no doubt we are just going to continue to expand this huge community.
So when you are putting together, let's say, this current 2018 Committed Cooks program, how quickly do you guys turn around and start looking at, well, what is a 2019 potential Committed Cooks program going to look like? Is that pretty soon?
Should I tell you that we're already talking about it? We're already working on it?
I think you did.
When you put this number of really driven women together, you get some amazing results. So I think it's just a continuous reminder. We have so much fun. We work so hard, and the response is there. The teams are there. So we don't like saying, no, we're full. It's just that reminder of let's keep growing. Let's keep expanding and really make something huge here for Smithfield.
So we see Smithfield being very active as it relates to competition barbecue and offering a Committed Cooks program and giving benefits and some high-dollar prizes to folks that are actually using the product and finishing first, which is great to see. But also you see Smithfield in other capacities, like, for instance, becoming part of ancillary categories in contests throughout the country, not the least of which is going to be part of the pork ancillary category at the American Royal this year.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. If you haven't heard already, 2018 is the year of the loin. It's one of those products that can be really intimidating when you buy it in store. But we have these brilliant minds, these amazing cook teams who we want to encourage to show off that creativity. So for 2018, we are launching our very first pork loin ancillary at the American Royal.
So what is entailed there, and how do you get to be a part of that?
Yeah, so actually it's going to be really easy. Anybody who wants to participate is absolutely encouraged to sign up. If you sign up, we are going to give you that product for free. So you really have nothing to lose other than maybe some time, some creativity out of your mind. But yeah, it's a really nice $5,000 cash prize. And it's going to be within the ancillary category happening on Sunday the 16th. So if you are already competing in one of the ancillary competitions, this is an easy ad. And just another something fun. Again, we love seeing what people come up with because that pork loin just has so many ideas, so many options. It's one of those things that I think a consumer might not buy, but our barbecue pitmasters, they know what's up and they know how to make some really awesome, yummy meals out of that.
So, I mean, you have access to all this stuff. Like, what's your favorite way to do a pork loin, Belinda?
Ooh, good question.
Right.
You know, I think it's one of those, I have had some very interesting conversations about that since we started this loin conversation about, last fall. And one of my favorites that I've seen, very simple, something I could do, and that was probably why I enjoyed it so much, is just taking it, chunking up about a quarter of it, and making a nice pasta dish. Because you don't think of pork necessarily first thing when you think of a pasta. You might think of a chicken or another protein. That's where we want to put you in our minds, is that it's absolutely is versatile and you can use it in just about anything. So I would say, yeah, some pork loin chicken Alfredo pork loin Alfredo, fettuccine Alfredo would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is how inside the box I live. I just think about putting it on a smoker, maybe injecting it, putting some barbecue rub on it, taking it to about 135, slicing it, and getting all the high fives and hearty hand clasps from the neighbors. But you're blowing my mind here with some pork Alfredo. I mean, that's where the creativity comes in, right?
That, and I can't by any means claim to be the master of the grill at my house, but I'm a pretty darn good cook. So I think I love to see when people come to us and show us those ideas and really just make such a wonderful finished product. It's so fun to see.
All right, so that's going to be Smithfield's pork loin ancillary category. That's going to be Sunday the 16th at 1 o'clock. So if you're going to be there or you're already doing something else, as Belinda said, easy ad, go ahead and take advantage of that and check out smokingsmithfield.com for more information. Also, this was first year last year, was the Smithfield Barbecue Classic, which is kind of has that guinea pig style competition feel to it. So tell me a little bit about this year's version.
Yeah, so inquiring minds have been asking about this one for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm thrilled to announce that we have officially announced Smithfield Classic for a second year, and this year we're taking it out of Smithfield, Virginia, and over to Richmond, Virginia, to the Richmond International Raceway.
Wow.
So again, such a fun city, just a little bit larger venue, giving us more space for those teams and their rigs. And we're going to be in Richmond on September 28th and 29th.
You know, I'm often caught in an argument between myself and maybe some of these other pitmasters, especially people that are putting on competitions, between how much do we need to let pitmasters do what they do, and then how much do we need to put public in front of them so they can also catch the bug, or they can demystify some things where they might build up in their mind that, oh, this is going to be so tough, or I could never do anything like that. But once you see somebody do it, you're like, hey, I can do that. Is there going to be some forward-facing public stuff during this Smithfield Classic?
You know what, there is. I think that's probably one of the most important things for us is these guys all started somewhere. They saw someone who inspired them. So we absolutely want to encourage that consumer to attend, check it out. We will obviously share more details as we get closer to the event, but absolutely bring your family, bring your friends. It's going to be a lot of fun this year.
Is there going to be any ancillary categories associated with this event as well, the Smithfield Barbecue Classic?
You just want to show off those pork loin skills again, don't you? Yeah, we're going to throw that in there too. We're going to have another loin ancillary, giving everybody a chance to win an additional $1,000. So, doesn't hurt to take home $1,000 at the end of the weekend.
So last year, I don't know if you know, Belinda, but I do. that if you won that thing, you got what I would call a golden ticket to go to the other side of the country and take part in King of the Smoker. Is there any way that that might be extended out here in the second year?
Of course. You can't
Yes!
take away the coveted.
I might come
know,
out and
who
cook that.
doesn't?
I might come out and cook this year. I might.
Who doesn't want to be in California the first weekend of December? I mean, it's too cold to be just about anywhere else. So,
Right.
yes, we are cordially inviting the winner back to the Smithfield King of the Smoker.
Belinda Niebling joining me here on the show. And here's a question that I want to ask Belinda. You know, Smithfield, as we've talked about here, you know, really stepped up to the plate here over the last couple of years, even from a visibility standpoint in a lot of the competitions that you see. Obviously, if you follow Emily on any type of social media, there's obviously been a continued step up into the NASCAR circuit with Stewart House Racing this year. What about specific advertising as it relates to somebody like me, a backyard hack, a backyard warrior, not necessarily a competition cook? Does Smithfield look at, or are you guys going to be doing any type of target marketing or TV advertising or something like that to get somebody like me a little bit more exposed to the Smithfield product?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing is obviously we realize that there is all levels to the sport of competitive barbecue. It's one of those things that can be very challenging to get into, and it's very, it can be downright expensive if you are going out a lot. So
yeah.
we want to encourage people on all levels. We certainly advertise to all different markets, but we're looking for opportunities also, some stuff coming in 19 that may reach a different audience and may give people a chance to feel like they're competing and on that same caliber of all those pitmasters. So absolutely, we want to encourage everyone who wants to cook to just have fun with it and just cook more.
Belinda, I don't want to throw a curveball here on the way out, but the World Food Championships final table is taking place this coming weekend in Bentonville, Arkansas. Do you have a prognostication on who you think might be pulling out the Grand Championship this weekend?
I mean, I believe it's going to be my boy Fred. I don't know who else could possibly do.
I know. That's what I told Mike McLeod when he was on a couple weeks ago. I was like, hey, you're not judging, and you're not going to be cooking here, so you got to be able to tell me who you think is going to win. And then he politely sidestepped, but I didn't. I said, hey, I'm a barbecue guy through and through. I think it's going to be Fred Robles. He's actually following you here on the show this evening, so we'll get to see it.
Birdie told me that.
Yeah.
We're so excited for him. We couldn't be more proud of what he's done, and he's going to have a great time this weekend.
All right, so here's what you want to do. You want to run over to smokingwithsmithfield.com and make sure that you are up to speed on everything that's going on as it relates to Smithfield, and we're talking with Belinda Niebling. Belinda, really appreciate the time tonight. Appreciate getting to know you, and thanks for doing it.
Thanks, Greg. You have a good one.
Thanks, you too. It's Belinda right there from Smithfield, and there we go.
Appear via the Traeger Grills hotline.
Edge Marketing. That's right. So if you were paying attention, they are marketing partners with Smithfield, putting projects together, doing the advertising, getting out. Very exciting. So I think, how many more people are there in the Smithfield stable that I don't know that haven't been on this show? Backyard Barbecue Show, Jason King. Smithfield should sponsor people on YouTube. Agreed. I don't know, Jason. Here's what I'm thinking. 3 weeks ago, we could have done pork loin, finely cubed, dropped in the booze teen. Huh? I think so. I think we were right there. You and I are on the same page. Pork loin, booze teen. Forget the bacon. Did you do bacon? You did bacon, right? I forget. We could have subbed out bacon and done crispy pork cubes. Hey, behind every great meal is a great grill. But not just any grill, a Traeger grill. And the Timberline is Traeger's most advanced grill yet. It allows you to grill, smoke, bake, roast, braise, and even barbecue like a pro, no matter what your level, thanks to its incredible wood-fired taste. Seriously. You don't know flavor till you're cooking with it. Traeger grills use all-natural hardwood pellets as fuel, so you're literally cooking with flavor. From low and slow smoked ribs to a seared steak and even a baked apple pie, Traegers can handle it all. And the Traeger Timberline makes it even easier thanks to the wire fire capability. You can check on your cooks, kick up the temperature, and set custom cook cycles anytime, anywhere, all right on your phone through the Traeger app. In fact, I gotta go check out my brisket right now. Actually, it's freaking cold. Thank God I have wire fire because I don't want to go outside to check my brisket temperature. I don't need to do that with my wire fire Traeger grill. You can find one at your local Traeger dealer or check them out online at TraegerGrills.com. Hey, how about this? Want to beef up the barbecue game as summer approaches? Traeger shop classes are going on right now, coast to coast, bringing barbecue knowledge and amazing wood-fired food everywhere they go. Taught by professional pitmasters such as Chad Ward, Doug Scheiding, BBQ. The list goes on. You need to reach barbecue glory. You need to find a shop class. You will get that glory. You will get high fives from the neighbors. Find a shop class near you. Sign up today at TraegerGrills.com/shopclass. That's TraegerGrills.com/shopclass. My boy, Texas embedded correspondent Doug Scheiding was doing a Traeger Grills shop class in Salt Lake City the last 2 days over the weekend. Knocking it out, meeting the likes of Salt and Copper. I think Pittman is a Traeger Grill shop class guy as well from Meat Church. Got to get him back on the show here shortly. TraegerGrills.com, TraegerGrills.com/shopclass, and Fred Robles coming up next. Stick around, be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, all right, welcome back. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring or connect via Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you are in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232 today. Mine just sparked up because it's right there on my desk. Unbelievable. Let me go check the emails real quick before I get over to Fred Robles. All right. Helping me close the show this evening. Glad I looked over there because that was wide open. That would have came through. Would have been very unprofessional. Helping me close the show tonight, a guy who has punched his ticket back in November to be a part of the final table of the World Food Championships this coming weekend in Bentonville, Arkansas. Let's go ahead and race to the Traeger Grills hotline and welcome back the pitmaster of Rio Valley Meats, Fred Robles, to the show. Fred, how are you, buddy?
Doing good, Greg. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Fred. Appreciate you making time here for the show. I guess before we look ahead, Fred, let's go ahead and take a quick trip back to last November as we track your path to what is going to be Bentonville, Arkansas this past weekend.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we were in Orange Beach, Alabama here in November. A little out of our comfort zone. We went in there because it was marketed as IBCA versus KCBS, and being from Texas, we always feel like the odd man out in the barbecue world. Yep. So it was a chance for Texas to show what they can do in a ways. So yeah, we went over there and got lucky, and we won the IBCA contest, which allowed us to get into the final there. And what can I say? They liked our food that final day, and here we are, getting ready for the final table.
Fred, we had a number of conversations, not necessarily you and I, but as I had some people that were either watching World Food Championships or had also competed but didn't win it. They were saying that final day it was tough from a barbecue's perspective to think that, you know, you did a was it a ribeye cap or something like that that ended up winning it for you? That wasn't like real barbecue stuff. There wasn't a time allotted for barbecue. Did you have a similar mindset on that, or did you think it was all right?
Well, it was more grilling than anything, which I guess you could still consider barbecue. Now, if you're running low and slow, of course, you need more than, I think it was an hour and a half that they gave us start to finish. So I guess if you're a purist, you would need more time. But I consider that barbecue. I mean, anytime you have a piece of meat over some coals, it's barbecue to me.
Fred Robles joining me here on the show, pitmaster of Rio Valley Meats. You know, Fred, this was the first year since its inception that there wasn't an overall winner crowned at the main event in November. And the idea, I guess, was that they would take all of you top 10 folks and use this time between to get you in front of media, various forms, promotion, hype, all that stuff. So let me ask you, since you're one of those 10, have you personally experienced that in respect? Have you found that you've been in front of more media? Do you find that you're getting hyped, or was that a little overshot?
We've had some exposure. I know a couple magazines have reached out, a couple of publications. Actually, I was looking at the itinerary here coming up for the end of the week for Friday, Saturday, and of course Sunday is the final. A lot of those days are going to be a lot of media and shooting sizzle reels and stuff like that, which is a little out of our element, but I'm looking forward to it, man. See what comes out of it, for sure.
Fred, I had Mike McLeod on a couple weeks ago, and he said that you, like specifically you, were the only one of the top 10 finalists that's allowed to bring another cooking device that was outside of that Brightwater kitchen, specifically being access to your pit. So do you plan on, or are you on the road like right now headed to Bentonville, or not yet?
I'm headed out Thursday.
Okay.
But yes, I am taking my rig. I mean, I've got everything in there that I can possibly need at a cook-off. So I figure I'm going to take it, and I've got all kinds of stuff in there. So that way I don't forget anything at home. So it'd just be easier for me.
Mike did mention that there is a pit maker vault already on site. Did you think about leaving your pit at home and using the one that they had there, or no way?
Man, I'm so used to running my Jambo that it was a no-brainer for me to even though it's a haul. I mean, it's from my house, I believe it's like 14.5-hour drive to get to Bentonville. But I just know the way my pit runs. I know the way it operates. I know the way it functions. So I'm just gonna. I mean, it's a chance at $100,000. I want to give myself the best chance I can.
Now, when you go inside or away from the pit, there's only professional devices that you're going to be able to use. So are you concerned at all with any of those and how you might use them and or how they might differ from what you're typically accustomed to using at home? Or do you have a lot of experience around commercial kitchens and those particular devices?
I'm not very, very experienced in with commercial kitchens or what have you, but for what I'm cooking, I really just need a pot and a stove and a couple other little appliances here and there. It's nothing. My approach to barbecue is always to keep it simple, man. So I'm gonna keep it simple, and hopefully the judges love it, and hopefully we come out with the victory.
So are you given an itinerary of how the actual competition is going to go? Like, are you told that you're going to be able to cook whatever you want? Or are you going to be assigned a specific barbecue dish in order to cook? How is that going to lay out, or do you not know that yet?
No, we can basically cook whatever we want. So going into it, all the other 10, or the 10, including myself, have been practicing and cooking, practicing at home, cooking whatever they want. And that's what, I mean, everybody can do their own deal. So yeah, it kind of gets old practicing the same thing over and over, but it's practice makes perfect, like they say.
Fred Robles joining me here on the show. Fred, this is going to be filmed for TV. You know, I don't want to be the devil's advocate here, but typically TV these days means some weirdo stuff that might be lurking around the corner. So is there anything in the back of your mind that is saying, hey, I'm going to be practicing cooking X or Y or Z, and then when you get there, are you worried that they might throw some type of a sidewinder in there that you're going to have to account for that you haven't been practicing?
Yeah, that's kind of a worry, especially I know WFC likes the infused ingredients, what have you. So yeah, that's something that's lingering in the back of my mind, but we'll take it in stride, man. It's the way I see it is if there is some sort of curveball or whatever, it's for all the 10 finalists, not just for me. So everybody's gonna have to deal with it.
Have you had any interaction with any of the other top 10 finalists at all during this time off?
Yeah, we actually have a little Facebook page type of deal, just the 10 finalists, and we kind of interact with what's going on when everybody's leaving and traveling and stuff like that. So yeah, we've talked somewhat back and forth on different issues.
Who do you like the best, and who do you want to crush?
I like everybody, and I want to crush them all.
That's right. Everybody's my best friends, and I want to kill all of them. That's great.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you think?
No, I mean everybody's is good at their respective category, of course. Everybody's earned their way there, and my respects to everybody. But at the end of the day, we're going in there with the mindset to win, and we're going to come out with that victory, buddy.
Do you think that? I'm trying to think of the best way to word this. So, like, you know, if I were you coming out of Cleveland, I'd be going down, and of course I would be looking to win. But you know, you're a Texas guy coming out of Texas, so do you want to win for you, but you also want to win for Texas? Like, do you carry that with you like a badge of honor?
Absolutely. Everybody who knows me knows that I always want to win, that I'm going to do my best and give it my best, to win, not only for myself, but for everybody who's supported me and who still supports me, everybody who's helped me along the way, everybody who I consider my friends and family and barbecue family. I want to win for them, not just for myself. And of course, that includes the Lone Star State, man, the great state of Texas.
Who are you bringing with you? I know Ernest was cooking with you down at World Food Championships. Are you bringing the bean guy with you?
I'm bringing Mr. Burnt Bean.
Really?
Yeah, he'll be out there. Yeah, he'll be out there with me, and another friend of mine, Roddy Trevino, is going to be out there as well.
Wow.
And my wife is flying in for support as well. So, yeah, we'll have a good team there.
There were no restrictions at all put on who you're allowed to bring or anything like that? I mean, Ernest happens to be a pretty good cook, in case nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, Ernest is a beast, man. He's great. Now that guy knows his way around the kitchen. For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy to have him on board. He helped me out in Alabama, and he's a really good friend, and I'm happy he's coming along.
Is he gonna be whipping up the blue cheese taters again?
I can't say it, but chances are pretty good.
Yeah, I got you. What are your thoughts on judges at the final table? They've been announced. There's 5 of them. It seems they have varying palates that you might have to account for. Any worry on that at all, or just kind of like an IBCA type situation for you?
Yeah, I think it plays into our hands. I mean, that's what we shoot for in barbecue, is middle of the road barbecue that pleases a lot of palates. So I think it serves as an advantage to us. I think another point in talking to a couple buddies of mine is that I don't know how much the other 9 finalists have competition experience. I know they've done the World Food, but I don't know how often they do it. Now, in the barbecue world, I do this every weekend, so it's to me, and I don't want to make light of it. It's another cook-off. Yes, it's a big deal, but I don't feel really pressured or what have you, like some of these other finalists might be. So that might be a good thing as well.
Fred, you've won some of the biggest competitions around. If you were, I hate to play the guy that says, hey, let's look ahead and assume that you win, but I mean, it's a really big payday. You got $100,000 in cash and prizes. And again, let me stipulate that again, in cash and prizes, not just cash, but a huge payday regardless. Would this be the biggest win on your career so far if you're able to pull this one off, or are there other ones that would rate above?
as far as cash, yeah, this would definitely be I think in general it'd be the biggest win in my career. It's one of those that can, if we win it, it can open so many doors just because of the media involved and what have you. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully everything turns out great.
And you're feeling pretty confident. You said you were assuming or you're planning on coming out with the victory, so I would imagine you're feeling pretty confident.
Absolutely. I think we're going in there with a great dish that if we execute it right, I think it gives us a really good shot at winning this thing.
Fred, not to look away from what's coming up this weekend, but the 2018 competition season for you, obviously, very important. What do you have planned out here over the next handful of months?
This year I've kind of been lingering over into the KCBS side a little more. Being from Texas, we don't have a whole lot of them down here,
yep.
Especially as far south as I live. So most of my contests within a 4 or 5 hour radius are all IBCA. I'd have to go travel, like here recently we were in Oklahoma for that doubleheader there in Shawnee.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to a different challenge, which is what I like about KCBS is the 30-minute turn-ins. It's a little different challenge than having to wait around 2 hours for IBCA turn-in. So I'm looking forward to doing a bit more KCBS, and hopefully we can be a little more consistent on those. It's a different style of cooking, so it's a learning curve.
If you're going to be on Facebook this weekend, make sure you check out the World Food Championships Facebook page because they're going to be streaming the final table live via Kitchen Ambush, and you can watch our guy Fred Robles go for $100,000 in cash and prizes. Fred, of course, you've shown up on this show prior to the competition. We know what that means. You're going to be winning, and this is just more of a formality for you to show up and go ahead and take that win. But show karma attaches, of course, and I appreciate you taking the time out to do it and hype it up with us. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for having me, Greg. Appreciate
you got it,
buddy.
There he is, Fred Robles, heading to Bentonville this coming Thursday.
All guests appear via the Traeger Grills hotline.
There we go.
Yummy.
And Fred's feeling very good. And I agree with him. I don't think he's coming off too confident or, too much bravado. I mean, this guy is used to competing at the highest levels. So he has that competition vibe down. He knows how to react under pressure. He knows he's been put in pressure-packed situations with far more teams and people than the final table, but a lot of money involved, a lot of prizes involved, a lot of prestige involved, a lot of doors that could be open. So it could be a new type of pressure once you get down into it. So we'll see how Fred reacts. Don't forget, the World Food Championships Facebook page is the place you're going to want to go to watch all the streaming events here on the 21st and 22nd this coming weekend. Let me quickly talk to you about the Barbecue Guru. The Guru's always believed that outdoor cooking should be easy because, well, it can be, especially with the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition grill. The Monolith is the world's first temperature-controlled smoker with a built-in power draft fan. This means smarter control and greater freedom with automatic pit temperature controls. Easily choose your cooking time and temperature and let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or a barbecue pitmaster. With minimal effort, you now have oven-like precision at the grill and can serve the tastiest, juiciest meals each and every time. I say it from time to time, that's consistency. That's what gets you. People raving. What's better than just going in, knowing you can set your temperature, and each and every cook, the temperatures are going to be the same. You can go back, you can review your notes, and you know that your setup is going to be just like the last time you killed that rack of ribs or that whole brisket or that pork shoulder, those chickens, or that pork Alfredo. Yeah. How about that? Cook that in the Monolith. By the way, if you already have a Barbecue Guru temperature controller, you don't need to get an extra fan, right? You can just hook the controller right up to the fan, and the Monolith will be accommodating to that. So unless you want to go out and buy new technology, you can go out and buy the CyberQ Cloud controller if you want. But if you have a current controller, that will hook up to the fan and you're off and running. Plus, it comes with a whole bunch of great accessories. 2 weeks' time, we're going to be talking with Barbecue Bob Trudneck about the rib ring that he's created. It's flying off the shelves. It's absolutely incredible. All right, we're back to wrap the show right after this. Maybe give you a chance to win something. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Now's the time on the show where we give stuff away, yeah. It's free and you don't have to pay a thing, that's why it's free, yeah.
Okay, because I can, I will give away my most personal possession right here, the brand new copy of Steven Reichlen's Project Fire. And if you want, I'll go ahead and sign it right here. My autograph. Steve didn't sign that one. It came right from the publisher. But if you want me to sign his book, as I'm ought to do, I'll do that. You have to send me an email, and in the subject line, you put Barbecue University. Spell out barbecue, spell out university with a space. Barbecue University. And you can get a copy of Steven Reichlen's brand new book, not even out yet, Project Fire. Good luck.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks again to Fred Robles from Rio Valley Meats for joining me. Talking about the upcoming World Food Championships. Once again, he's got a 14-hour drive. He's going to be leaving on Thursday, and then they have stuff Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is actually going to be the main event, I believe, and then Friday, Saturday is going to be a media event, probably getting to know the rules and all this other stuff. So, hey, it's good, it's fun, it's award-winning, and we will see how Show Karma attaches. If he can carry out all the way to Sunday when the actual event takes place, or if he'll fall a day short. Usually, Karma attaches on Saturday when the barbecue competitions actually take place. But because this is such an event, I would imagine that it has to attach on a Sunday. All right, we got a winner for the book, and it is Hootie. Hootie hoo! Hootie, you win the book. Go ahead and send me your shipping information, and that will also go out in the mail tomorrow. Media mail, though, buddy. I'm not paying extra shipping for that. So you'll get it when you get it. But you get it for free. How about that? You love that. Hootie, send me your shipping info. You won. Tim Rogers, you just missed it, but you won the shirt. So don't worry about it. Hey, all the way back in the first hour, we talked with Steven Raichlen. Talked about the new book, talked about the new TV show, talked about Paia. Talked about some pretty cool dishes that he might make that aren't live fire and grilling stuff. Then we talked with Brett Galloway from the State Cook-Off Association. Talked about the big past events over the last couple weeks, the big triple that took place this past weekend. Got some big events coming up here. Also, the brand new location and date for the World Steak Cook-Off Championships coming up in October. Their specific personal date. Then in the second hour, we talked with Belinda Niebling from Smithfield. And we closed it out with Fred Robles from Rio Valley Meats talking about the World Food Championships. Big show lined up for you next week already, okay? Hopefully we'll get the WFC winner to recap that. Amongst other things, we got the embedded correspondence segment, as you know. So looking forward to next week's show already, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.